Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda Radhe.
Reading from Jaiva Dharma. Eternal and temporary dharmas of the Jiva. Krishna is the infinite spiritual substance, Brihat Chidvastu, whereas the Jivas are infinitesimal spiritual substance, Anu Chidvastu. The oneness.
Slowly, because then they will understand.
Yes. The oneness of Krishna and the Jivas lies in their spiritual nature, Chit Dharma.
Jiva means soul. Again read.
Krishna is infinite spiritual substance.
Yeah.
Whereas
The spiritual substance, Krishna.
Brihat Chidvastu.
But the biggest thing, Brihat means Brihat Bhagavatam, means big thing.
Whereas the Jivas are infinitesimal spiritual substance.
Small.
Anu Chidvastu.
Anu. Yeah.
The oneness of Krishna and the Jivas lies in their spiritual nature,
Yes.
Chit Dharma.
This is the Dharma of Jita, with the closeness, oneness with the Supreme. This is the Dharma. Jaiva.
But they are undoubtedly different as well, because their natures are complete and incomplete respectively. Krishna is the eternal Lord of the Jivas, and the Jivas are Krishna's eternal servants. This interrelationship is natural.
Not
It's natural.
Natural.
natural, I say not true. So you have to be very clear.
Yes.
I listen high, so
Okay.
slowly and clear.
Krishna is the attractor, and the Jivas are attracted. Krishna is the supreme ruler, and the Jivas are ruled. Krishna is the observer, and the Jivas are observed. Krishna is the complete whole, and the Jivas are poor and insignificant. Krishna is the possessor of all potency, and the Jivas are devoid of potency. Therefore, the eternal Svabhava,
Nature.
or Dharma of the Jiva, is Krishna Dasya, eternal service and obedience to Krishna. Krishna is endowed with unlimited potencies. His complete potency, Purna Shakti, is perceived in the manifestation of the spiritual world, Chit Jagat. Similarly, his Tatastha Shakti, or marginal potency, is observed in the manifestation of the Jivas. A special potency acts in assembling the finite world, Apuna Jagat, and this potency is known as Tatastha Shakti. The action of the marginal potency is to create an entity, Vastu, which exists between the animate objects, Chidvastu, and inanimate objects, Achidvastu, and which can maintain a relationship with both the spiritual and the material worlds.
Can you repeat the sentence, please?
The action of the marginal potency is to create an entity, Vastu, which exists between the animate objects, Chivastu, and inanimate objects, Achivastu, and which can maintain a relationship with both the spiritual and material worlds. Purely transcendental entities are by nature quite the opposite of the animate objects, and therefore have no connection whatsoever with them. Although the Jiva is an animate spiritual particle, he is capable of a relationship with inanimate matter due to the influence of Aishi Shakti.
More slow because he's translating.
Yes.
But it's okay. I am going.
No, it should be slow.
I listen to him.
To understand. Is not faster understanding will come. Because it's Jiva thing. It's not a story. You have to stop to understand this. We don't understand that.
Although the Jiva is an animate spiritual particle, he is capable of a relationship with inanimate matter due to the influence of Aishi Shakti, a divine potency which is known as Tatastha Shakti. The boundary region between land and the water of a river is known as a tata, or shore. This tata may be considered to be both land and water. In other words, it is situated in both. The divine Aishi Shakti, which is situated in the border region, upholds the properties of both land and water, as it were, in one existential entity. The Jiva's nature is spiritual, but still, his composition is such that he can become controlled by Jada Dharma, the inert nature.
Jada. Jada means material.
Therefore, the Bada Jiva, the conditioned soul, is not beyond all connection with matter, unlike the Jivas in the spiritual domain. Nonetheless, he is distinct from dull matter because of his animate spiritual nature. Since the Jiva is by nature different from both the purely spiritual entities and dull matter, he is classified as a separate principle. Therefore, the eternal distinction between Bhagavan and the Jiva must be accepted. Bhagavan is the supreme ruler of Maya, his external potency which creates bewilderment, which is under his full control. The Jiva, on the other hand, may, under certain circumstances, be controlled by Maya, for he is subject to its influence. Hence, these three principles, Bhagavan, the Jiva, and Maya, are real, Parama Artika Satya, and eternal. Of these three, Bhagavan is the supreme eternal principle and is the foundation of the other principles. The following statement of Shikata Upanishad confirms this. Nitya Nityanam Chetanash Chetananam. He is the supreme eternal amongst all eternals, and the fundamental sentient being among all sentient beings. The Jiva is by nature both an eternal servant of Krishna and a representation of his marginal potency. This demonstrates that the Jiva is distinct from Bhagavan, yet at the same time is not separate from him. He is therefore a manifestation that is both different and non-different, Veda Abheda Prakash. The Jiva is subject to domination by Maya, whereas Bhagavan is the controller of Maya. Herein lies an eternal distinction between the Jiva and Bhagavan. On the other hand, the Jiva is by his constitutional nature a transcendental entity, Chidvastu, and Bhagavan is also by nature Chidvastu. Moreover, the Jiva is a special potency of Bhagavan. Herein lies the eternal non-distinction between these two. Where eternal distinction and non-distinction are found at one and the same time, eternal distinction takes prominence. The Nitya Dharma, the last sentence, where eternal distinction and non-distinction are found at one and the same time, eternal distinction takes prominence. Can I explain?
Yeah.
Jiva is at the same time one with God and separate, different from God. And when they're present at the same time, the first comes is separateness. It's always distinct from God. The Nitya Dharma of the Jiva is servitorship to Krishna. When he forgets this, he is subjected to the tyranny of Maya. And from that very moment, he becomes diverted from Krishna.
Sri Ram. Not that Maya is the main thing, and you have to divert from here. We divert from him to Maya. This is our problem. We no need to divert from my material to him. We divert from him to make these things and for something. This is the reality. And that creates suffering. Because we leave our natural nature. We catch the unnatural thing, what is not mine. Just now I got it in this life. I was male in other life. You are male, I was female. So this, all senses was not that. Different body was there. Different senses was there. But now I got in this and I forget the reality. This is Maya. This is also true. So we believe this. But is it created by Lord that you engage yourself and suffer in this Maya? and we accept truth is this and God not exists. Super soul not exists. This is the problem starts. Right?
You got diverted and perverted too.
Sri Radha.
So,
Very good.
The fall of the Jiva does not take place within the context of material time. Accordingly, the words Anadi Bahirmukha are used.
Another means from long time. We are Bahirmukh, outside thinking, because we lose my devotion. I just sold to super soul.
Meaning that the Jiva has been diverted since time without beginning.
Yeah.
From the moment of this diversion and the Jiva's entry into Maya, his Nitya Dharma becomes perverted.
Sri Radha. Forward.
Namitic Dharma. Nitya Dharma.
We leave, forget this tradition. Radhe, Radhe. Yeah. Box. How's your Hanuman?
Where's Hanuman?
All the way to the back.
He's sitting in the asana. Yeah. Yeah. Very nice. Good. Watch.
This way. Again.
First give to Hanuman.
Let's give to one.
Yeah. Yes, go on.
Therefore, by the association of Maya, the Jiva develops Nisarga, or acquired nature, which thus facilitates the display of his temporary function and disposition known as Naimitika Dharma.
Yeah.
The Nitya Dharma, eternal function, is one, indivisible, and faultless in all different situations. But the Naimitika Dharma, temporary function, assumes many different forms when seen in diverse circumstances and when it is described in various ways by men of divergent opinions.
Wow. Understand? Again. Yeah.
The Nitya Dharma, eternal function, is one, indivisible and faultless in all different situations.
Yeah.
But the Naimitika Dharma, temporary function, assumes many different forms when seen in diverse circumstances and when it is described in various ways by men of divergent opinions.
Wow.
Having spoken thus, Paramahamsa Babaji stopped and began to chant Shri Harinama Japa.
Yeah.
Hearing this explanation of spiritual truths, Sannyasi Thakur offered prostrated obeisances and said, Prabhu, I shall deliberate on all these topics today. Tomorrow, I shall submit at your lotus feet any questions that may arise. Thus ends the first chapter of the Jaiva Dharma, entitled The Eternal and Temporary Dharmas of the Jivas. This is the first chapter.
What? Finish what?
First
Second, what is it?
Second chapter is the Nitya Dharma of the Jiva is pure and eternal.
And first chapter was?
The first chapter was the eternal and temporary dharmas of the jivas.
Yeah. Understand? Or difficulty to understand? Wow, very nice class. Go on.
Yes, more.
The next morning, Sannyasi Mahashaya found no opportunity to inquire from Premadas Babaji, who was internally immersed in Vrajabhava, mellows of service in the mood of the residents of Vraja. At midday, after accepting alms from the houses of the villagers, they sat together in the arbor known as Sri Madhavi Malati Mandapa. Paramahamsa Babaji Mahashaya then began to speak compassionately. O best of the Bhaktas, what conclusions have you reached after yesterday's discussion on the subject of Dharma? Feeling supreme bliss, Paramananda, Sannyasi Thakura asked, Prabhu, if the Jiva is infinitesimal, how can his eternal Dharma be full and pure? And if the natural function of the Jiva is formed at the time he is constituted, how can that function be eternal? When Paramahamsa Babaji heard these two questions, he meditated on the lotus feet of Sri Sachinandana and then, smiling, said, Respected Sir, although the Jiva is infinitesimal, his Dharma is full and nitya, eternal. Minuteness is only a trait by which he is identified. Hara Brahma, Shri Krishna Chandra, is the one and only infinite substance, Brihadvastu, and the Jivas are his innumerable atomic particles. Like sparks emanating from an undivided fire, the Jivas emanate from Krishna, who is the embodiment of immutable consciousness. Just as every spark is endowed with the potency of the complete fire, so each and every Jiva is capable of displaying the full function of consciousness. If a single spark has enough fuel, it can kindle a blazing fire that will incinerate the whole world. Like the virus. Similarly, even a single jiva can bring about a great inundation of love by obtaining Sri Krishna Chandra, who is the real object of love. As long as he fails to contact the real object of his spiritual function, Dharma Vishaya, the infinitesimal conscious jiva is capable of exhibiting the natural development of that function. In reality, it is only when the Jiva is in connection with his object that the identity of its Dharma becomes apparent. What is the Nitya Dharma or eternal constitutional function of the Jiva? You must examine this question carefully. Transcendental love for Krishna, Prema, is the Jiva's Nitya Dharma. The Jiva is a substance transcendental to mundane matter, and consciousness is that which is he is constituted. Don't be so. Yeah.
But I don't have any space. Okay, a little bit. Full. Yes, I don't know why I'm coming full and going full. This is magic. Like I'm giving everything.
Full of love and living.
Yes.
10.
This is good. I hope everybody. Radhe Please be healthy.
In evening time,
Yes, Gurudev, of course.
direct flight is going.
If I reach there, I will call you. Gurudev.
Plastic bag, some polythene bag.
Yes.
No, Gurudev, no problem. I will just take this.
All the
So
best
please-
for coming home.
Thank you. Stay healthy.
Greetings to your husband.
Oh,
Radhe.
Desinfection my hands. See you soon, no, Gurudev?
All the best.
Yeah, sweetie. See you soon, Gurudev, no?
Very soon,
Very soon. Radhe.
We will come outside.
Radhe. Love you, Radhe.
Nice to meet you.
Perfume, give to perfume. All perfume. Give the garnet, one garnet is there.
Yeah. He sings. Such a good father.
His eternal function is divine love.
Wow. That is the goal. Not knowledge, not philosophy. Love. And love cannot be one. They need two for that. So inner potency, eternal potency of Krishna is love. Then we understand. First, Prabhupada says, we have to assign with Krishna. Then, slowly, what?
We will reach the ultimate goal.
To inner potency. Nobody talk on that. Because they think that we not assign it still. How many years you practice?
29.
How many years you practice then you assigned it? Honestly say.
2015.
When you assign with Krishna, then your life starts. It's free. Assign means you get it. You don't need to doubt on him. Till the doubts are there, listening to him, you not assign it. And Western world is only doubting, creating doubt, and we not assign it. This is Western world. And Vrindavan, if you know assign, you have to first assign, then you can start here. Right or not?
Right.
Because teachers are not assigned, but what about others? Sorry. See with Jaiva Dharma. Nobody will say this point. Love. If I don't believe him, how I can think to love, to develop relation, to feel him?
His eternal function is divine love.
Yeah, divine love, underlying love. And he cannot love himself. He needs one to exchange this love. You can love yourself. But the Jiva can love to him.
His eternal function is divine love, and the nature of that pure prema is service to Krishna.
Service to Krishna underlined.
Yeah, it is.
Full, not God.
Yeah,
I don't believe in gods.
the whole line.
Whole line.
She'd like to know if it's possible to have love for himself, for ourselves.
When I will know my soul, because I love myself. Only knowing myself and living in that, you love yourself. Jive daya, name ruchi Vaishnav sevan. What is jive daya? They say, jive daya to compassion with other jiva. Foolish. Jive daya means first you give to mercy to your jiva, to remember that you are jiva. When you will not see how you can give mercy to the body, when you will see jiva, you will never take any pain. She will be very angry to you. Anything she can do, you will not bother because you see her jiva. Your vision is bright now. You have a glass to see the divine. And when you have not this glass, you will see the body useless. Now we have to change it.
So maybe I need new glasses. I need to make them in Vrindavan.
Yeah.
That is your decision. Glass is not fit, then you have to change it, yeah. Alternative goal we have. Ultimate goal. You see, I have to learn this word. I never learned. Ultimate goal.
For ultimate goal, I need ultimate glasses.
Yeah.
If it's the last, is it what? We have to be lusty for ultimate goal. We have to lust. We need that lust, rati, to move on with that. Lust moves to us. My greed moves. Greed is also lust. My craziness, madness for that. That's the beauty here. Huh? What more?
Ultimate goal.
Ultimate. Yeah.
That's why the monkeys steal the glasses here.
Oh,
The monkeys steal the glasses.
we need third eyes, divine eyes.
2 weeks
No
ago.
can steal us. Shiva has a third eye. Why third eye? He gives the ignorance eyes. And when he gives mercy to his pure devotee, he gives third eyes. He removes his ignorance. This began. Shiva is a Guru Tattva. Without his mercy, you cannot realize, remove our ignorance to see the reality. He is my Guru Acharya.
Therefore, the constitutional function of the Jiva
Constitutional function of this body and constitutional position of the Jiva is very different. You cannot mix it. When you will know what is my real position, then you see different one third cover. This is my covering to this Jiva. This constitutional covering is a gift. Like he creates one room to live there. And what we think? Oh, now I am the room. This is my room. I am the room. This is my condition. I am my flat. I am my building. This my building. My body is like a flat. The Jiva creates for living. Doors and windows he give because the good architecture is many windows and many doors. So he creates the door and window, but we think that now only for using this door and window, fresh air will come. Maybe your glass is broken, repair it. It will be fine then. You will not get the cool. Some problem, too much using, it become broken. Our living there is our broken condition. Understand? Because when you use something, one door, it breaks. When this idea is fixed in mind, then you have no problem. You see Nitya Dharma and Naimittik Dharma. But it is not clear. You read and read, you will be interested to read Naimittik Dharma because you are living there. But you read the Nitya Dharma, you realize that living there, then you are not interested. You don't like to go. Many ghost preachers there. They talk Naimittik, Anitya Dharma too much than Jiva Dharma. Why? Because they are interested to that because they are living there. But if you start living in Jaiva Dharma, you are not interested. You clear in this sense. Go on.
Therefore, the constitutional function of the Jiva is service to Krishna, which is the nature of prema. Jivas exist in two conditions: Shuddha Avastha, the pure liberated state, and Baddha Avastha, the conditioned state. In the liberated state, the jiva is completely spiritual, chinmaya, and has no connection with mundane matter. However, even in the liberated state, the jiva is an infinitesimal entity. The jiva can undergo a change in condition because he has the quality of minuteness. Krishna, however, never undergoes a change of condition.
Oh, that never change, but jiva can change because of tatastha, margina. Yeah.
For by his very nature, he is the entity of infinite cognition. By his essential constitution as a vastu, a factual existent entity,
This is Bhakti. Mana? Permanent, effectual living is Bhakti. That is the real Vastu. Other Vastu is stuff. These are also Vastu. We start loving this Vastu, but real Vastu is
he is supreme, completely pure, and eternal. Whereas the jiva, by his essential constitution as a vastu, is minute, apart, liable to contamination, and subject to repeated change. Nevertheless, by virtue of the jiva's dharma, or unadulterated spiritual function, he is great, undivided, pure, and everlasting.
yeah. Everlasting. Everlasting naughty. That's it.
We continue?
Yeah.
As long as the jiva is pure, his dharma displays its spotless character. However, when he is contaminated by involvement with Maya, his true nature is perverted, and he becomes impure, bereft of shelter, and oppressed by mundane happiness and distress.
Srila, understand? You are always happy. I connect you. I show you. You are jiva. Many will change. This glass, red, blue, green, white, steel, glass, many change can come. Why bother for this? What if we bother? Change. This glass is leaving me. Are leave, I will buy again one glass. But I will connect myself. It's not just for drinking, just for one sense as using. Why bother this? Whole life will start suffering for small things. And we leave our real goal. Right or not? Thank you. Go on.
The jiva's course of material existence comes into effect as soon as he forgets his attitude of service to Krishna.
Yeah.
as long as the Jiva remains pure, he maintains his identity and self-conception in accordance with his unadulterated spiritual function, Swadharma.
Sadhana.
Swadharma.
What?
Swadharma.
Swadharma. Now dharma is this, that Jiva is staying Jiva. If not, then he will be Italian. Crazy man. Right? Swadharma. Yeah. Go on. I'm going on. Up to 12.
Yes. His innate and original egoism is therefore rooted in the conception that he is a servant of Krishna. However, that pure egoism recedes and assumes many different forms as soon as he is contaminated by the association with Maya. The gross and subtle bodies then cover his pure constitutional identity, and as a result, a different egoism emerges in the subtle body, Linga Sharira. When this combines with the soul's identification with the gross body, Stula Sharira, a third form of egoism is assumed. In his spiritual form, the Jiva is exclusively a servant of Krishna. When the Jiva identifies with the subtle body, his original pure egoism of being a servant of Krishna is covered, and he thinks that he can enjoy the fruits of his actions. He then obtains a gross body and thinks, I am a Brahmana, I am a king, I am poor, I am miserable, I am overwhelmed by disease and lamentation, I am a woman, I am a master of this person and that person. Thus, he identifies himself with many different types of gross bodily conceptions.
All useless. All is useless. Is a false ego. I am a Brahman, I am a Guru. Is all false ego. We are Jiva and you are Jiva. We all are one family and brother and sister for one goal. There is no other goal. No senior, no junior. We have to exchange the love. If you become senior and make junior, then you have to give love. Make happy to the Jiva. If you want to see happy to the creator of Jiva, this is the job we have. If you see yourself, then you can do for others. If you are blind to see yourself, what you are, you don't do for others. We all come for progress. Not that I progress and you not progress. Everyone is conscious. Only one is covered more, one is not covered. But Jiva is not. You clean the covering, you are the same. There is nothing missing inside you. All the knowledge of scripture is there. Because we are the spark of this supreme knowledge. Knowledge, what we are searching for. Because we cover, we are looking outside. All knowledge are there. My nature to serve. This is missing. We miss the knowledge because we cover ourselves. The day covering will clean and I will identify that I am a Jiva. All the problems gone. Problem is no problem because we are Jiva. All problem exist in my senses. All problem exist in my building. We will repair it. Coming down, we will repair it. What is the problem? I have no problem. My building becomes sick. This needs some repairing. It's too kaput, too old. We will change another one. What is wrong? We have to know the reality. Who I am and what is to do. Service to do. Love to do. And we missing this, we are not in right way. We lose our path. We lose our understanding. Then we start fighting with my false ego. I am Italian, my nature to fight with others. This is not real nature. Italians are more close and more loving to Jesus than anyone. More saintly person born in Italy than other places. Because of the material identification, they are not seen. So they become more little space. It's nothing problem. Only we have to come to know myself. And that we need the help of Mahajan. What is Mahajan? This books are the teaching of the association of Mahajan people, like Shruti association, listening from the mouth of Shruti, is the great, right? Who help us. They are great. Yeah.
When the Jiva associates with these different types of false egoism.
Yeah, so the false ego. What is this? Not truth, false. Based on false. What ego is this? False ego. What is not truth? This word is English word. We live in the false. And we feel proud with this. Oh, I become Guru. I am a king. I am a businessman. I am an architect. I am many followers of me. Ego, false. Not followers. In the mercy, little you enlightened. Again Maya will cover you because of false ego. You don't forget this. And the person who goes in false ego, Maya catch him sure. Krishna's food is the eating of false ego. He ate that immediately. First thing is disturbance. is a demonian. Lava, puja, pratishtha. Lava means the beneficial. Oh, money will come to me. Puja means you worship me and give money to me. I have many projects you have to support. Puja, love, benefit. Project because to collect money. Pratishtha, always I have to sit high and you sit low because I am the great. Not that you are sick, you cannot sit in floor because you are sitting high, you want worshipping. Sorry, I don't do so. Whole life I sit in floor. Now I cannot sit in floor. So I try to little high to stand nicely. But I have no desire to sit in high place. Vaishnavas are more higher than me. I always respect. You see, my bed and your bed is same. We are similar. Even the Manjaris has a 1 day difference. They have no much difference. And 1 day difference is no meaning. So, we are at the soul, no difference. Nobody is young and old. Soul never become old. We all are young, girl, in the same age. For the Savior, to reach the Savior, to the Lord. We want to move with love and service. Service gives you to love. Service is the only chance to love. You can show your love through your service. There is no other way to show your service. Service only goes in your love. The day you are in love, you want to serve. It's the nature of service.
When the Jiva associates with these different types of false egoism,
Jiva, you also get it. You say, he is like this, my Radha Krishna is like this. I have to also behave like this. Oh, she is doing like this, I have to make something more. So then I see this false ego and we try to develop this.
his constitutional function becomes perverted.
Yes, change.
The intrinsic constitutional function, Swadharma, of the Jiva is unalloyed prema. This prema manifests in a perverted way in the subtle body in the form of happiness and distress, attachment and aversion, and so on. This perversion is observed in a more concentrated form in the gross body as the pleasures of eating, drinking, and contact with sense objects.
Say that.
You should understand clearly that the internal function of the Jiva, known as Nitya Dharma, is manifest only in his pure state.
Say that.
The Dharma that arises in the conditioned state is known as Naimitika, circumstantial. Nitya Dharma is by nature complete, pure and eternal. I will explain Naimitika Dharma at length another day.
Another way. This is not mixed up. And that I don't need to listen. I don't want to mix up. You listen. 10 times listen Jaiva. Many are talking only of Naimatik Dharma Nitya. And I suggest, you know very well, only for the reference study, but it is not meaningful. For reference that you are doing, what is this? Is a reference. But what to do is Jaiva Dharma. You have to read this 10 times. To more fix this. Then you will try to convince yourself to go this way, you will not do. So practice Jaiva Dharma. Radhe Radhe. Yeah. Hello?
क्लास में जाना है चार्ज करना
देखो बड़ा सब लाल वाला देखो लाल वाला
एक का ही काम है इसका
ले लीजिए
मैं दे रख
Therefore,
The unalloyed Vaishnava Dharma that has been depicted in Srimad Bhagavatam is eternal religion, Nitya Dharma. The various types of Dharma that are propagated in the world may be divided into 3 categories: Nitya Dharma, Naimitika Dharma, and Anitya Dharma, impermanent religion. Anitya Dharma is religion that does not speak about the existence of Ishvara and does not accept the eternality of the soul.
that is Buddhism. Sorry to say. Buddhism. I'm surprised when Christian goes in Buddhism. Christian, Hindu, they are not in that. I agree they can do. But Christian goes to the Buddhist, I surprised. They don't understand Jesus. That is Anitya Buddhism.
Naimitika Dharma acknowledges the existence of Ishvara and the eternality of the soul, but only endeavors to obtain the mercy of Ishvara through provisional methods.
Provisional method.
Give me something.
Huh?
As
Example. One. Yogi Maharaj, who is living with us, he is also in Navatika. See his life and his behavior and talk. Go on. And we also do. We also do. You can see that.
Nitya Dharma strives to obtain the service of Bhagavan by means of unalloyed prema.
If I don't do prema, sorry to say. Projects are there. Everything there. Why the breakdown happened? Craziness happened because of that. Babaji is telling. Siddha to sannyasi. He was in Navatik Dharma. see that.
Nitya
We
Dharma.
are caring to the sannyasis, the Baba, in the Western world. Wow! Today is the good luck. So many sannyasis collected here. What they are teaching, you'll see that. No love. And go on. You will see that. I will show you everything.
Nitya Dharma may be known by different names according to differences of country, race, and language. However, it is one and supremely beneficial.
You see, in all countries, you can see it. Country can be same, different. Language is different. But that Dharma is different. Soul and soul fixed there with love and service. I always give example, Jesus, Saint Francis, Saint Paul's. And there are many.
The ideal example of Nitya Dharma is Vaishnava Dharma, which is prevalent in India. The pristine state of Vaishnava Dharma is that Dharma which Bhagavan Shachinandana, the Lord of our heart, has taught to the world. It is for this reason that great personalities, absorbed in the bliss of divine love, have accepted these teachings and taken help from them.
Sri Radha, underline this. Nobody do. When you say about this, this is Sahagya life. Because this you have to do yourself. Then your sannyas showing business will finish. Babaji can do this. Who is not interested in preaching and collecting people. Understand? Who is not interested in material.
At this point, Sannyasi Thakura, with folded hands, said, Prabhu, I am constantly witnessing the super excellence of the spotless Vaishnava Dharma, which Sri Shachinandana has revealed, and I have clearly realized the contemptible nature of Shankaracharya's monistic doctrine. Still, something has come to my mind, which I feel I must submit to you. I don't want to hide it. I understand that Mahabhava, which was displayed by Sri Chaitanya, is the highest state of concentrated prema. Is it different from the attainment of perfection of absolute oneness, Advaita Siddhi?
What?
So Sannyasi Thakura is asking if Mahabhava of Sri Chaitanya is the same as the oneness feeling of our Shankaracharya follower.
You have to talk this, underline and say, talk with them. You don't come to the class because you are giving them.
I will tell him, yes.
Yes, your friend. How are you? कैसे हो?
ठीक है
सब ठीक चल रहा?
दाढ़ी बना दे राजा ये बोलते दाढ़ी बना दो हमारी
करो करो
हाँ
मशीन से करोगे किससे? अच्छा करोगे
मशीन पे तो उनकी वो कर दिया
अच्छा
वैसे क्लीन किया है
ठीक
When Paramahamsa Babaji heard the name of Sri Shankaracharya, he offered prostrated obeisances unto the Acharya
this is the great
and said, "Respected Sir, Shankara Shankara Sakshat, Shankaracharya is none other than Mahadeva Shankara or Shivaji.
yes this is Vaishnava always glorified
You should always remember this. Shankara is Guru for the Vaishnavas, and for this reason, Mahaprabhu has referred to him as Acharya, spiritual preceptor. For his own part, Sri Shankara is a perfect Vaishnava. At the time Sri Shankaras appeared in India, there was a great need for a guna avatara like him, an incarnation who presides over the qualities of material nature. The study of Vedic Shastras and the practice of Varnashrama Dharma had become practically extinct in India due to the influence of Shunyavada, voidism, the nihilistic Buddhist philosophy.
Sriraj.
Shunyavada is vehemently opposed to the personal conception of Bhagavan. Although
Emptiness.
it partially accepts the principle of the living being's identity as a conscious spiritual soul, Jiva, it is an extreme example of Anitya Dharma, impermanent religion. The Brahmanas of that era had abandoned the Vedic Dharma and had, in effect, all become Buddhists. At that point, Shankaracharya appeared as an extremely powerful incarnation of Mahadeva. He re-established the credibility of Vedic literatures and converted the Shunyavada doctrine of voidism into Brahmavada doctrine of Nirvisheshan, featureless Brahman. This was an extraordinary feat, and India will remain ever indebted to Sri Shankaracharya for this tremendous contribution. All activities in this world fall into one of the two categories. Some are relative to a particular period of time, and some are applicable for all time. The work of Shankaracharya was relative to a particular period and bestowed tremendous benefit. Shankaracharya laid the foundation upon which great acharyas, such as Sri Ramanujacharya, erected the edifice of pure Vaishnava Dharma. Consequently, Shankaravatara was a great friend and preceptor who pioneered Vaishnava Dharma. Vaishnavas are now reaping the fruit of Shankaracharya's philosophical precepts. For the Jivas who are bound by matter, there is a great need for Sambandha Jnana, knowledge of the soul's entanglement in material nature and his relationship with Bhagavan. Shankaracharya and the Vaishnavas both accept that the sentient living entities in this material world are completely distinct and separate from their gross and subtle material bodies, that the jivas are spiritually existent, and that liberation, mukti, entails giving up all connection with this material world. Consequently, there is a great deal of agreement between the doctrine of Shankara and that of the Vaishnavacharyas up to the point of liberation. Shankara has even taught that the worship of Sri Hari is the method by which one can purify the heart and attain liberation. He has only remained silent regarding what extraordinary destination the jiva attains after liberation. Shankara knew perfectly well that if the jivas could be prompted to strive for liberation through the worship of Hari, they would gradually become attached to the pleasure of bhajana and thus become Shuddha Bhaktas, pure devotees. That is why he simply pointed out the path and didn't reveal further confidential secrets of Vaishnava Dharma. Those who have scrutinized the commentaries of Shankara can understand his inner intentions, but those who are only preoccupied with the external aspect of his teachings remain far from the threshold of Vaishnava Dharma.
Understand this. Now you need to help your life, Yogi Maharaj. You will be a good preacher.
Shankaracharya said in his last words, Bhaja Govinda, Kanamre.
More mate. Bhaja Govinda, more mate. More mate means strong-headed. Less intelligent. Sri Radha.
Radhe